Okay, boys and girls, welcome to the brand new and updated Browser Automation Studio tutorial series. I wanted to run it back from the start. Okay, there's been a lot of changes and updates with Browser Automation Studio, which from now on in this series I'll be calling BAS. Okay, keep it nice and short. So I wanted to, like I said, get back to the basics and do a series, a total free series that will take you from beginner through to the intermediate stages of using BAS. This is the beginner video, so if you've used BAS before, then you might want to skip this one and move on to maybe a couple of videos time. Like I said, this is the beginner's video. I presume you've never used BAS before. The only thing that I presume is you've downloaded Browser Automation Studio from the website, you have it on your computer, and you're ready to learn how to make powerful bots and software. Now, before we begin, I just want to do a bit of a shameless plug. If you haven't already, check out the website. The URL is in the description where you can check out the course. You can come and talk to us in the Discord. Okay, all the information's in the description, so check that out. If you want a custom script made or all that good stuff, then check out the links in the description. Okay, without further ado, let's get cracking. So as I said, this video is the beginner's video, and we're going to move on to some intermediate stuff. I'm going to do, I think there's going to be two videos for beginners, and then I'm going to move on to some intermediate stuff, and then we're going to get on to the nice advanced stuff after that. Okay, so this is the interface once you've loaded up BAS. That's all I presume you've got on your screen, okay, and you're eager to learn. So let's go over the basics of this screen, okay, and then we're going to move on to the good stuff where we create the bots in the Visual Studio. Okay, so up here is your basics. You probably understand this. Like when you go to projects, you can create a new project, you can open an old project, you can show the database and all that good stuff. I'm going to show you the database shortly, but most of what's inside here is self-explanatory. You can save, you can open a file and create a new one. Everything else in here we're going to go over as we progress through this little mini tutorial series. Okay, for instance, build is when we finish the bot and we want to compile the bot. The interface and tools, we're going to go through all these as we go through the series. Okay, so the only thing you need to know as a total beginner is the projects section where it says new, open and save, all that good stuff, and show database, which I'm going to show you in a second. Okay, the main functions that you need to know about on this section of the screen is the record and the run. Now we use the record to, as the name suggests, to record or create our bot. That's where all the good stuff happens, and that's where we're going to spend most of our time. When you press that button, you'll be taken to a second screen, which is the place where we build our bot, which I'm going to show you in a second. And then the run section is once you've completed your bot, okay, you've put it together in the visual editor, then you will be able to then run the bot, which will give you a representation of how the bot would look when it's compiled and it's ready to run, or how it would look to a client. Okay, if you're planning on selling your bots, or you're planning to give it away to your mum, your sister, or your brother and show them what a fantastic bot creator you are. Okay, so the next really important section, which you'll be using a lot, is the resource section where you can create resources. Now, what resource is in its most basic form, and we're going to be using these a lot. So if it doesn't make sense to start with, don't worry. We will be using this over and over again. The resource is where you create items that is going to be seen in your GUI or your graphical user interface that you or your clients or your friends can interact with to make things that you use inside of your bot. For example, you can create a resource that is a list of usernames, or maybe you create a resource that's a connection to the database. You might create a resource that's an input section where people can put a string, maybe a username once again, or a password that they can later use within their script. Now, if that doesn't make sense to start with, do not worry. It will do after you have watched this series. Okay, so that's all the things that you need to know on this screen for now. Okay, we will be going over everything. Let me just show you a database. If you click show database, you obviously won't have a database to start with, but you can create a database just by clicking the create database button. You can add tables, so you just click add table, and this is a bit like Excel. Yeah, I mean once you've created a database, the Outlook is a bit like Excel with the functions that you can do, like you can filter and all that good stuff. But when you first come on here, you give the table a name. This could be usernames, and I'm just running over this in the first video. Don't be worried. Everything's going to be described in greater detail as we move forward. So this could be usernames, and you always at least fill out the English for the description, because that's what's going to be visible to the user. If you're Russian, then feel free to fill out the Russian section as well. So this table could be called usernames, and then once we've filled that out, you just simply add a column, and this could be username. Username, hit OK, and then hit save, and then you always, if you make changes to a database structure, you always have to restart the bot. So that's going to happen now. And there you go, we now have a database. That's how simple and easy it is to make a database. Okay, if that doesn't make sense as well, do not fear, we're going to be using that in the up and coming videos. So that's the basics of this screen. To create a resource, you just click the button here, and then you name the resource. So you need to give it something descriptive that can be used with inside the bot. So I'm going to call this URLs. Okay, so this could be a list of website URLs, which we'll use in the forthcoming videos. And then it asks you, what type of resource is this? What is this? So we're going to say it's lines from file in this case. We're going to run over all these in later videos. So, but this is going to be a list from a file. So lines from file. Hit next. What do we want to do? In most cases, you just want to leave it as standard, only read the file. So hit next. And what do you want to do? Use one line each time, several times. And it gives you a description here what these settings are good for. But for now, we're going to hit next. Use just the line one time from the file, and then hit finish. And we have a resource called URLs. Okay. So once we have our resources set up and we're happy, then always make sure you save. That is a key point. You never know when your computer's just going to die out on you. Trust me. Okay, so with that being done, you hit the record button, and that's where we can start making our bot. And as you'll see, this is the GUI, or the graphical user interface. And you can see the resource that we made here that we can later use within our bot. And it's called URLs, as we named it. And we said that we want the resource to be an input of files, because we want to read the file line by line to use within our bot. Okay, so you would click the icon here and then tell BAS where your resource file is in this case. So let me just make one if I haven't already done so. I think already, yeah, list of sites, which is a list of URLs. So I'm just going to use that for now. Hit OK, and then we can use that resource, in this case, a list of URLs with inside our bot. Okay, and what I'm going to do is, because I've made that file for the video, for the course, so let's have a look. List of sites. Yeah, it is a list of sites. That's great. So once you've clicked the record button, you'll be brought over to this screen, which is the visual editor, which has all the good stuff on. So let me take you over what you have here. So on your left, you have the visual creator, which is where the bot code is created. It's done in a box like this for every step that you create. So if I was to go to this option, load, and then google.com, don't worry, I'm going to show you what all this is in a second. Then you'll see that the bot one goes to Google, but the item that's just been made, in this case, go to google.com, appears in our visual editor. So it's made in steps. Your bot's made in separate steps. So it's easy to change, easy to see what's happened. And as the name suggests, it's a visual editor. So you can see each step that the bot's going to do. Okay. In this case, we just went to google.com, and that's how easy it is to start making bots. So this is your visual representation. Over here is your toolkit with all the good stuff in. There's so much to cover, and you can do so many things. BAS is getting deeper and deeper, and you can do so much with it. You can make browser bots, obviously. Non-browser bots, you can work with JSON now. You can use embedded languages like Node.js. We can work with JavaScript. You can do async await, all the stuff that you can do in programming, and it's just getting better all the time. So I'm going to run you through some of the things that we can do over this video series. Okay, so we have our visual editor, we have our toolbox. So for instance, what I did to be able to go to Google is in our toolbox, I went to the browser options here, and then you've got even more options to play with. But I used the load option, and then you just simply put a URL in here. I put google.com. So let me just show you that. I put google.com in here and then hit OK, and then the bot would simply go to Google. Now the third and final section here is the browser window. Okay, so you can see exactly what's going on, and you can work with the browser. For instance, if I wanted to come to the search box here and type something in, I could simply click on it, right or left mouse button, it doesn't matter. Then I could select the option move and click, and then we're going to get into element selection, but I could just say, yep, that's right, hit OK, and you'll see the mouse move and click on the box here. Then I could click on it again, and then I could select type text and put cats, because I know that's what all you guys search for, and then hit OK, and it's going to type cats into the search bar. And then I could take it a step further. In fact, I think with Google search, I could just go select the option type and then hit enter. So simulate doing an enter stroke, keystroke, and there you go. We've gone to Google and we've typed in cats, and we've done a search for Google for the keyword cats. And we've done that in about, what, 10 seconds. Okay, so that's how easy it is to start making bots with BAS. So we have our visual here, which is block by block of the different actions. So in this case, we went to Google, we moved and we clicked on the search bar, we typed cats into that search bar, and then we hit return. So we made the search. And that is the three main sections of creating a bot. I just want to take you over the options here as well. Okay, so this option here is to play the bot or run through each one of these steps without stopping. Okay, as if you're running the bot as a completed bot. This option here is to run by step over the block, so you can see the action unfold and make changes if there's any errors. This is to stop the bot, okay, to stop recording, and this is to reload the bot. So if you've made changes to the bot and you want to reload it, then you simply use this option. Here we're going to be going over in probably the next video, but you can change the amount of threads to run. A thread is how many browsers to run at the same time. So if you were creating accounts on facebook.com and you wanted to make, say, 3 accounts at the same time, then you're able to run 3 threads, and the amount of threads you're able to run is only limited by the power of your computer, so bear that in mind. And then run type, you can run through the script just once, so run through these blocks of code just one time and stop. You can change that to repeat. So if you choose repeat, then the script's going to go over and over and over until something runs out. So if you had a list of URLs you were working with, then the bot would go through each one and then just stop when that list has run out. And then custom, this is where you can use resources to have a custom number. For instance, you could have it so the user could type in the amount of times they want the script to run and how many fails are allowed to happen before the script will stop working. So when you edit this, this only changes for when you run the bot properly and not when you're in edit mode, okay? And again, don't worry if this doesn't make total sense. It will do as we go through this series and build out some bots. I just want to take you over the very basics in this video, okay? So I'm just going to show you something really quickly to end this video as well, and that is the resources, okay? So let's exit the bot. I'm just going to get rid of all these by right clicking on a block of code here. You can delete it. You can delete that and lower, so get rid of the one you're clicking on and lower. Okay, you can move the execution point to the item you clicked on, so the bot will just run from that point. Okay, so just bear that in mind as you're building your bot out. So we're just going to exit here. Okay, I'm just going to go up here. In fact, yeah, we'll run from here. So I'm going to hit record. I've given the bot its resource called URLs. We create that at the start, if you remember, and I've showed the bot where my list of URLs are. Let me just show you what that file contains. So the file contains just a list of URLs: Google, Reddit, then Yahoo, then Bing. Okay, so it's going to be clear in a sec why we've done that. So we create a resource called URLs, and we told BAS that that resource type is a file, and the file we want to work with is this file, which in this case is a list of URLs that we have. So we're going to hit OK and go over to our visual editor, and I'm just going to get rid of all this so we can start afresh. Now what I'm going to do is this time I'm going to go back to our browser option in our toolkit, and I'm going to hit load again. Remember we did this, but we hard coded into here google.com. So in other words, every time the bot would just go to google.com. But what we're going to do this time is we're going to click in this box where it says URLs to load, and where it says load from file, user input database, what that means is work with a resource. So just remember that if you click that, it means use a resource that we've built. So we're going to click that. And which resource do we want to use? Well, we've only made one, and it was called URLs. So we're going to click next. And then what we're going to do, we're just going to uncheck this box, which basically just recaps the option of only using each line in this file one time and then moving on to the next one. If you don't uncheck it, then the bot is just going to use the same line of code, same line from the file every time. So it just, in the case of our file, go to google.com, and then the next time that you run the script, go to google.com. If you uncheck the box, it will only use each line from the file once. And in this case, that's what we want. So it's unchecked, then we hit OK, and then we hit OK. And I'm just going to stop the bot so we can just save that. And then just one more time. So we're going to hit record. We made a resource called URLs, which is a text file input. We click this icon here to show BAS what file we want to work with. Hit OK. We come to our visual editor. All good. We made a block of code. We chose the browser icon, load, and then we put in our resource, which was the only resource that we made, called URLs. Now let's run. So let's click there you go. We've gone to google.com, which was the first line of code in our in our text file. If we click here, when you're making a script, if you click this little bug icon, it's going to show you all your resources and variables. Variables we'll go over later, but you'll see under resources, you'll see what is actually in your resource list. So you'll see that the first item is google.com, and we've come to google.com, and then Reddit, Yahoo, and Bing. So if we click on the load option again and we go move execution point here, we can reuse this block of code. Click the run next action, and you'll see we'll come to reddit.com, which was, oh sorry, got to wait for this to load. Okay, we'll come to reddit.com, which was the second item on the text file that we gave BAS. And then if we move execution point again here and press it again, you've got it. It's going to go to yahoo.com. It's going to load that. So basically what the bot's doing is taking that file that we use as a resource called URLs, and it's running over the list, taking one line of the file, it's using that as the URL. We're going to that URL, and then the next time that we run it is using the next line of the file and going to the next line. And that's how easy it is to start building bots. It's really simple. I hope you're hyped. We're going to move on in the next video and build something a little bit more advanced and go over some more of the options that you can use. Okay, so guys, I'm going to catch you in the next video. Just a reminder, if you haven't already done so, then check out the Discord, come and chat to us, get to know us, and explain to us what kind of bots you want to make. Okay, also check out the website. The course is on there too if you're ready to take the course. Check out all the good stuff on thebotempire.com, and I'll catch you in the next video.